You woke up today carrying something. Maybe you know exactly what it is. Maybe it has been sitting in your chest since before you opened your eyes, that heavy familiar weight that follows you from sleep into morning like a shadow that never quite left. And here you are, at the beginning of another day, and somewhere underneath the list of things that need doing, and the calls that need making, and the problems that are still waiting, underneath all of it, there is a quiet, honest question that you may not have put into words yet, but you feel it. Will I have to do this alone? That question is why you are here. That is the prayer before the prayer. And I want you to know, before we say a single word together, that the fact that you are asking it means your heart already knows where to turn. Because a person who had no one to call on would not be calling. A person who truly believed they were alone would not be reaching. You are reaching right now. You reached when you pressed play this morning, or when you found this prayer in the middle of the night, or when someone sent it to you and something in you said, yes, this is what I need, and he is already here. He was here before you started, not on his way. Not waiting until you have said the right words or arranged your thoughts properly, or cleaned up the parts of your life that still embarrass you when you think about them. He is here, in this moment, in this room, in the breath you just took without even deciding to. He has been here longer than this morning. He was here in the night when you were not even awake to notice. He was here in the weeks before this one, in the hard season you have been navigating, in the questions you have been sitting with, in the silence that sometimes stretches longer than you would like. That is where this prayer begins. Not with a long list of needs, though we will bring our needs. Not with a formal approach, though we will be respectful of who he is. It begins here, in the truth of his presence. His actual, right now, in this room presence. The one thing that does not shift based on how good the day is going, or how strong your faith felt this week, or how long since you last prayed. The one thing that was true before this morning opened and will be true long after this day closes. Stay here for a few minutes. Don't rush past this. What you are about to pray together has the power to change the entire shape of the day that is waiting for you. Not by making the day easier necessarily, but by meaning you will not have to walk through any of it by yourself. Let's go before him together now. Lord, I come to you this morning before the noise finds me, before the phone notifications start, before the first demand of the day pulls me away from this quiet, before the world reminds me of everything I haven't finished, every person I need to respond to, every pressure that has been sitting in my inbox or on my mind or at the edge of my sleep. I come to you now, in this small and unhurried moment, with one request that sits above all the others I will bring this morning. Walk with me today, not just at the beginning of it, not just in the peaceful hours of early morning when prayer feels natural and close. Walk with me through the entire stretch of it, through the ordinary parts that are easy to forget to include you in. The drive to work, the errand, the grocery store, the waiting room. Through the middle of the afternoon when I haven't prayed since morning and the tiredness has found me and I am operating on whatever strength I had left from the night before. Walk with me into the room where the hard thing is waiting. Walk with me through the conversation that doesn't have a clean answer. Walk with me through the hour that I have been dreading all week. And when it is finished, when I am on the other side of whatever today holds, walk with me out of it too. I am not asking you to take away what is difficult. I have lived long enough to understand that difficulty does not always leave on request, and I have seen enough of your work in the middle of hard things to know that some of what you do there specifically. I have seen you build something in a person during a hard season that could not have been built any other way, and I have come out the other side of difficult stretches carrying things I would not trade. Patience, depth, a steadiness I did not have before. I know that. So I am not asking you to smooth everything flat. I am asking for something more specific than that. I am asking for you, your company, your presence beside me. The knowledge, not sitting somewhere in my head as a fact I believe, but alive in my body where I actually feel things, that I am not moving through this day by myself, that there is someone with me in it, that the space around me is not empty, that you are there when I turn my attention toward you, and that you are there even in the long stretches when I forget to turn my attention at all. Because here is what I have learned about the difference your presence makes, Lord. When I carry something with you, it is still heavy, but it does not break me the way it does when I carry it alone. When I face something frightening with the awareness that you are beside me, the fear is still present, but it does not have control. When I walk into a room I would rather not walk into, and I know you are walking in with me, something in me settles. Not because I am no longer afraid, but because afraid is not the only thing I am. I am accompanied, and being accompanied changes everything. That is what I want today more than I want any particular outcome, more than I want the situation resolved my way, more than I want circumstances to line up in a way that makes life feel manageable, more than I want the answer to the question I have been carrying. I want you, walking with me, today, through all of it. Walk with me today, Lord. That is my first prayer and my deepest prayer, and the one I would keep if I could only keep one. I need to be honest with you this morning about where I actually am. Not the version of me that knows all the right words. Not the version that can speak confidently about faith because I am in a good season and the good season makes it easy. Not the composed version I carry into most situations. The real version, the one that woke up this morning with something already pressing before I was fully awake. The one that took a breath before getting up because the weight of the day arrived before the day did. I am carrying more than I have let on. There is worry in me that has been living here longer than I want to admit. Not the sharp, sudden kind that arrives with a piece of news and then fades. The slow, settled kind that has made itself at home over weeks or months. That I manage during the day and that surfaces at night when there is nothing left to manage it with. It is there most mornings. It is there right now. There is a situation I have prayed about before, more than once, more times than I can count. And I am still waiting, and the waiting itself has started to wear on me in ways I notice and ways I probably don't. I have tried to trust the timing. I have tried to release it. I have set it down and picked it back up more times than I can track. It is still here. I am still in the middle of it. And this morning I am bringing it again. Not because I have more faith than I did the last time I brought it, but because I have nowhere else to take it. There is a relationship that is not what it should be. Something has shifted or broken or gone quiet between me and someone who matters to me, and I don't know how to fix it, or I know how and I am afraid to try, or I have tried and it hasn't worked, and now I am sitting with the grief of that and not sure where to put it. There is a fear that I keep at bay most of the time by staying busy, by filling the hours, by moving from one thing to the next so the fear doesn't have room to expand. But in the quiet, in a morning like this one, it has room, and it uses it. And I am tired of the management. I am tired of the constant effort it takes to keep a lid on something that I would rather just not have to carry. I bring all of that to you now, exactly as it is, not arranged to look like faith, not dressed up to sound more spiritual than it feels. Just this, the real weight of a real person in a real morning, setting it down at the only feet I know to set it down at. And I surrender it. I surrender the worry that has run too long without resolution. I surrender the fear that I have been feeding without meaning to, every time I imagine the worst version of how things could go. I surrender the need to understand the plan before I can trust the one who has the plan. I surrender the grip I have been keeping on outcomes that are not mine to control. I surrender the exhausting work of trying to manage everything from the inside, managing my own expectations, managing my own emotions, managing how I appear to everyone around me while something in me quietly unravels. I surrender this day, the whole shape of it, every hour of it that I cannot yet see. Take it, Lord, not because I am giving up, because I am giving over. There is a difference, and I want to be clear about which one this is. I am not defeated. I am choosing. I am choosing to place what I cannot carry alone into the hands of someone who is not limited by what I am limited by. I am choosing to stop shouldering this in my own strength and to walk in yours. That is what surrender is. Not weakness, not defeat. The choice that actually requires more courage than holding on. The choice to let you be God in the specific places where I have been trying to be God myself. Walk with me today, Lord, even here, especially here. I want to slow down for a moment and name something that I think we often rush past. We talk about the big things God does. We name the miraculous provisions, the impossible healings, the turnarounds that defied every natural explanation. And those things are real, and they are worth naming. The record of what God has done in history and in lives like ours is long, and it is remarkable, and it should be told. But there is something quieter than the miracles that I want to talk about this morning. Something that does not make it into testimonies as often as it should. Something that I have come to believe is just as extraordinary as any miracle, though it rarely gets described that way. His ordinary, daily, nothing unusual is happening today presence. The fact that he is here on the unremarkable Tuesday. The fact that he is with you in the commute and the grocery store and the pile of laundry and the email inbox and the dentist appointment. Not just in the crisis. Not just when things rise to a level where you finally stop and cry out. On the average day. In the ordinary moments. In the in-between. I have heard people describe the experience of suddenly becoming aware, not in a dramatic way, not with any visible sign, just quietly becoming aware that they were not alone in a moment they thought was empty. Standing at a kitchen sink, sitting in a car at a red light, walking from one room to another, and something, not a voice, not an appearance, just a quality of presence, something let them know that he was there. That is not a lesser version of experiencing God. That is one of the purest versions. Because the miracle draws your attention to what God can do, and the quiet daily presence draws your attention to who God is. And who he is turns out to be someone who wants to be with you, not just in the emergencies, not just when you bring the right kind of prayer, but in the ordinary hours of your ordinary life, just to be with you. I am praying today for that kind of awareness. Not just that he would be present, he already is, but that I would have the eyes to notice it, that I would slow down enough in the movement of the day to feel it, that I would not require a crisis to pay attention to the God who is walking right beside me. Let me notice you today, Lord, in the small things, in the quiet moments, in the parts of the day that don't feel significant enough to bring to prayer. Let me find you there too, because that is exactly where you are. There is someone listening to this prayer right now who is in a hospital room. Maybe it is your room. Maybe you are the patient and the morning is brutal and the light through the window feels wrong because you are not where you should be. You are not home. You are not going through your normal morning. And the reality of why you are here presses in with a weight that is very hard to hold. Maybe you went last night and you have not slept and the doctor said something you are still trying to absorb, and the morning has arrived ahead of any peace you were hoping would come with it. Maybe it is not your room. Maybe it is someone you love, and you are sitting in a chair beside the bed, and you are the one doing the holding together, and you have been holding together for longer than you have the reserves for, and nobody in that room knows how much it is costing you because they need you to be all right. I am not going to offer easy comfort, because you know the difference between real comfort and the kind that is just meant to make the person offering it feel like they said something useful. You have probably received some of that in the last few days, and you were gracious about it, but it didn't hold. What I will say is this: he is in that room with you, not as an idea, not as a principle of faith you are supposed to apply like a medicine. He is there the way a person is there, present, close, aware of every specific detail of what is happening in that room. He sees the chart. He knows what the numbers mean. He knows what the doctor said and what it implied and what was left unsaid. He knows the way you have been sleeping in the chair or not sleeping at all. He knows how afraid you are. He knows how you are managing the fear for the sake of everyone around you. He sees what happens when they leave. He has not looked away. He has not grown weary of the situation the way people sometimes do when something goes on longer than their capacity to sustain attention. He is just as present today as he was the first day you called out to him about this. More present, because he has been walking through every hour of this with you. even the hours when you couldn't feel him at all. I pray right now for the body that is in that hospital room. Not vaguely, specifically. I pray for the blood that needs to change course, and the tissue that needs to respond, and the inflammation that needs to resolve, and the systems that need to come back into alignment. I pray for the bones and the nerves and the cells that are not doing what they were made to do. I pray for the scan that is coming, and the result that is still pending, and the treatment that has been started and may or may not be working. I pray with every specific detail I cannot name, because I do not know them. But he does, and I ask him to address every single one. I pray for the doctor who will walk through that door today to have wisdom that reaches beyond what they have studied. I pray for a clarity of insight that they may not even be able to explain. I pray for the nurse on the night shift who is kind when kindness costs something, and for that kindness to keep coming. I pray for healing that is clear and real and measurable, the kind that gives someone a testimony they can share. And I pray that through all of it, in every hour and every result and every conversation and every night in that room, you would feel him there, not around it, in it, walking the same space you are walking in, filling the room with something that cannot be produced by medicine or reassurance or the presence of other people, however much we need those things too, something that is distinctly and unmistakably him. There is someone listening who is about to walk into a situation with their finances that they do not know how to walk into. The account is short. Maybe it has been short for a long time, and the management of it, the constant calculation, the watching of dates, the careful ordering of which bill gets paid first, has become a background noise that never fully turns off. Or maybe this is new, a loss of income or an unexpected expense or a slow erosion that has finally reached a place that cannot be ignored, and the fear of it has been sharp and close for weeks. Rent is real. The light bill is real. The car payment and the prescription and the groceries and the debt that keeps accruing interest and the gap between what comes in and what goes out. All of it is real, and I am not going to wrap it in language that makes it sound like it ought to be simple to trust God with. But I will pray this: Lord, provide for every person in this prayer who is standing at the edge of what they can see and wondering how the gap gets crossed. Provide, not eventually, in time. Before the need becomes a crisis, let provision arrive. Make it specific enough that they know it came from you. Make it unmistakable. Let the story they carry out of this season be one they can tell. This is what I needed. This is how it came. This is the God who did not abandon me in the middle of it. And in the waiting, in the days before the provision arrives, when the worry is present and the numbers don't add up yet, Lord, walk with them through it. Give them the clarity to know what step to take. Give them the peace that is not explainable by circumstances but comes from somewhere deeper than circumstances. Give them the ability to sleep, to function, to show up for the day without the fear consuming every hour. There is someone listening who is in a situation with their children that has broken their heart. A child who has gone somewhere you didn't expect them to go. A distance between you and them that wasn't there before, and you don't know when it opened or exactly how. A worry about a son or a daughter that sits with you the way nothing else sits with you, because there is no love as undefended as the love a parent carries, and when something threatens what you love that much, the threat goes all the way through. I pray for your child. I pray for the wandering one to find their way back. I pray for the one in a destructive place to encounter something that interrupts it. I pray for the one who has gone quiet to find their way to a conversation. I pray for the relationship that has broken or cracked or gone cold to be restored, not just patched, but actually healed, so that the years ahead can be different from the years that have just passed. And I pray for you, for the strength to keep loving without conditions, for the grace to be the same person they can come back to no matter how long they are gone, for the peace to trust them into God's hands even when every instinct you have is screaming at you to hold on tighter. That is one of the hardest surrenders there is. I pray you find the grace for it. There is someone listening from a quiet kitchen. The house is still asleep. You slipped out while it was dark because you needed this moment, this small window of stillness before the demands begin, before you are needed by everyone and there is no part of the day that belongs to just you. You're standing there in the quiet with something warm in your hands, and the world is still dark outside the window, and the day hasn't arrived yet. And in this one brief pause before it does, you're asking the oldest, simplest, most honest prayer a person can pray. Lord, will you be with me today? Yes. The answer is yes. It has always been yes. It was yes before you asked it, and it will remain yes every time you ask it again throughout the rest of this day and the rest of your life. He will be with you today, in the kitchen, in the car, in the office, in the hard conversation, in the waiting and the rushing and the places in between, in the moments when you feel him clearly and the moments when you can't feel him at all. He will be there. That is not a sentiment. That is a promise from someone who keeps his promises and always has. There is someone listening to this prayer right now who has been lonely for a long time. Not the lonely that comes from being by yourself on a particular evening. The deeper kind. The kind where you can be in a room full of people and still feel it. The kind that is not about being surrounded or not surrounded, but about being known. Truly known, the way you want to be known, in the specific details of what you carry and what you hope for and what keeps you up at night. And feeling like that kind of knowing is not available to you right now. Maybe there has been a loss, a marriage that ended, or a friend who drifted, or a community you had and no longer have. Maybe you have moved and the roots you had in one place have not grown in the new place yet. Maybe age has brought a quiet that you did not entirely choose. The years have passed and the phone doesn't ring the way it used to, and the house is stiller than it once was. Whatever brought you here to this particular kind of quiet, I want you to know something that I do not say as a substitute for human connection. I say it as something true alongside it, something that holds even when the human side is thin. He knows you, not in a general way, not the way a name is known in a file somewhere. He knows the specific contours of your interior life. He knows what you are proud of and what you are ashamed of and what you have grieved and what you still hope for. He knows the version of you that nobody sees and the version of you that you show people, and the gap between the two that you navigate every single day. He knows it all. He has always known it. And he has never once looked at all of it and turned away. That kind of knowing is real. And it is available to you right now, this morning, in this moment. Lord, I pray for the lonely ones. Not just that their loneliness would eventually end, though I believe it can, and I pray for that too. I pray that right now, today, they would feel your presence in the specific way that addresses the loneliness directly. That they would feel known, held, that the silence around them would not feel empty but full of you, your attention, your care, your company. Let the lonely ones feel accompanied today. Let them go through this day not as people who are on their own, but as people who are walked with by the living God, who decided before the world began that they were worth knowing and worth keeping. I want to say something now about what it means that you are here this morning. You could have woken up and immediately picked up your phone. You could have gone straight into the noise, the news, the notifications, the scroll through whatever the night left in your feed. Many people do. It is not a criticism of them. The pull is strong, and the quiet is sometimes uncomfortable because in the quiet, there is no distraction from what is actually there. But you came here first, or you came here eventually, which is also a form of seeking. Something in you said, before this day gets away from me, I need to find my footing. I need to remember what is true. I need to orient myself to something more solid than the news cycle or my own emotions or the state of my inbox. That is a wise choice. That is actually one of the most important choices you will make all day, where you start. Because where you start shapes how you carry the rest. A person who begins the day anchored in the presence of God walks differently through the hours that follow. They are not immune to difficulty, but they have a reference point. They have something to come back to when the day tests them, and the day will test them. So the fact that you are here is not a small thing. Don't minimize it. Don't dismiss it as a habit or a routine. Every morning you make this choice, you're doing something real. You're choosing, before the world makes its claims on you, To remember that there is a God, and He is with you, and that fact outweighs everything else that is coming today. That is the act of a person who understands what matters, who has learned, maybe through some hard experiences that taught it, that the most productive thing you can do before a demanding day is spend a few minutes in the presence of the one who holds the day. Keep making this choice. Bring it with you. Let it be the first thing, so that when everything else presses in, there is something underneath it that does not move. Lord, I want to pray now with specificity for the day that is coming, not in vague generalities, in the specific hours of the actual day that is already beginning for every person who is in this prayer right now. For the hour of the morning when things are still manageable and the energy is present, let us use it well. Let us bring our whole attention to what is in front of us. Let us not squander the good hours by living in anxiety about what is coming later. Let us be fully in the early part of the day, present and clear, doing what the hour requires without dragging tomorrow into it. For the moment when something unexpected happens, because something unexpected will happen. It always does. A plan changes. Something goes wrong. Someone says something that disrupts the mood. A piece of news arrives that redirects everything. In that moment, Lord, let there be a steadiness in us that doesn't come from having predicted it or prepared for it, but from the settled knowledge that you are not surprised by it. And if you are not surprised, we can breathe. For the difficult conversation that is scheduled, or the difficult conversation that hasn't been scheduled yet but is coming. For the words that are hard to say and the words that are hard to hear. Let us be courageous where courage is needed, and gentle where gentleness is needed, and quiet where silence serves better than speech. Let us say what is true in a way that does not do damage unnecessarily. Let us listen well enough to actually hear what is being said underneath what is being said. For the moment of temptation. The temptation to handle something the wrong way. The temptation to go somewhere that would not be good for us. The temptation to say the easy thing instead of the honest thing. The temptation to numb what we are feeling instead of bringing it here. In that moment, Lord, walk with us so closely that we feel the company before we feel the pull. For the fatigue of the afternoon, the hour when the morning's energy has spent itself, and the evening is still far enough away that it's hard to see, the hour when the decisions feel heavier and the patience runs thinner and the temptation to cut corners or to react sharply is strongest. In that specific hour, Lord, be close. Let there be a renewal that is not from coffee or adrenaline or willpower, but from you. Let us draw from a reserve that is not our own, for the evening. For the hour when everything is done and the day can finally be put down. For the person who puts it down tonight feeling like they made it through something real. For the one who puts it down feeling like they failed. For the one who puts it down grateful, and the one who puts it down relieved, and the one who puts it down still carrying something they don't know how to set down. In every version of how tonight ends, Lord, be there. Be the last word of the day before sleep comes. Let the last thought before consciousness fades be the awareness, quiet and simple, that you were with them all day, and you will still be there when morning comes. Walk with us through all of it. Lord, I want to pray now for what is quiet in us. The loud things are easy to name. Everybody knows what the loud things are. But underneath the loud things, there are quiet things that do not make it into most prayers, because they are harder to articulate, and because we have grown so accustomed to carrying them that we have almost stopped registering them as burdens. Old grief that has never been fully set down, not a fresh grief that arrived recently and still has sharp edges, the kind that has been with you for years, that you have found ways to live around, that surfaces at unexpected moments, a song, a smell, a particular kind of afternoon light, and reminds you that it has never fully resolved. The grief of a loss that changed the shape of your life in permanent ways, and the question of what to do with the space that person or that thing left behind. Lord, meet the quiet grief. Not to force resolution or demand that it leave on a schedule, just to be present in it, to sit with us in it the way a good friend sits with us, not trying to fix it, not rushing us through it, just there. Let the grief breathe. Let it be what it is without shame. And in your own time and in your own way, Continue the slow, patient work of healing that you have already begun. A wound from someone who mattered. The person who said the thing that landed in a place nothing else had ever reached. And the fact that it came from someone trusted made it go deeper than it would have otherwise. The person who left when staying was what was needed. The person who chose something else over you, and the specific, precise hurt of that choosing. You have forgiven them, or you are trying to. But forgiving is not the same as healed, and the place is still tender. Lord, go to that wound, not around it, into it. Do the work that human forgiveness cannot do, the work of healing from the inside, so that the scar eventually tells a story of mending rather than of breaking. A dream that was quietly let go, not all at once. Nobody gives up on a dream all at once. It happens in small surrenders, one at a time, until one day you realize you have stopped mentioning it, and then stopped thinking about it, except in a distant, resigned way. A version of your life that you wanted and stopped believing was available to you. Maybe you told yourself it was maturity. Maybe it was wisdom, in part. But somewhere in the letting go, there was also grief, a closing of a door that had once been open, and that deserves to be acknowledged. Lord, I bring the dreams I have set down. I don't know what is still possible and what has genuinely passed. You do, and I ask you to do with them what is true and good and right. If some of what I have given up belongs in my future, restore the hope. If some of it was never mine, help me to release it cleanly. But do not let me move through the rest of my life pretending that the giving up was nothing, because it was something, and you are a God who cares about the something. A question I stopped asking aloud, the ones that felt too big or too presumptuous or too honest for a prayer, the question of why something happened the way it did, the question of whether things could have gone differently, the question of what comes next when what came before was not what you expected, the question of whether you are really hearing, really close, really the God that the promises say you are, the question that would feel disloyal to say aloud, and so you have been carrying it quietly for longer than you want to admit. You can ask it. You can ask it here. He is not frightened by the question. He is not put off by the honesty of a person who is struggling. He is the God who has been asked hard questions by people he loved, and he has never once walked away from the asking. Ask, and then stay and listen, because he answers. Not always in words, not always in the timing we would choose, but he answers. He answers in ways that are sometimes only visible from a distance. He answers in ways that require hindsight to fully see. But he answers. He does not leave the honest question unanswered. Walk with me through the quiet things, Lord. Heal what is underneath. Reach what I have not known how to reach on my own. I want to speak now about something I believe with all of me, that I want to plant in you before this prayer ends. His presence is not dependent on how today goes. It is not dependent on whether you handle everything well. It is not dependent on whether the situation resolves the way you are hoping. It is not dependent on whether you feel it. Because there will be days, and you have probably already had them, when you could not feel him at all, and yet he was exactly as present as he was on the days when you felt him so clearly it almost took your breath away. His presence does not fluctuate with your feelings. It does not expand when your faith is strong and contract when your faith is thin. It does not increase in the good seasons and withdraw in the difficult ones. It is constant. It is steady. It is what it is regardless of the weather inside you. This is important to know because the day that is waiting for you is going to produce feelings, various, shifting, sometimes contradictory feelings. And those feelings are not the measure of anything except that you are human and the day is real and you are in it. They are not the measure of how close God is. They are not the measure of how well the prayer worked. They are just feelings, and feelings pass, and his presence is still there on the other side of every feeling. So, on the days when you feel him clearly, when the prayer lifts and the awareness is sharp and there is something almost luminous in the ordinary moments, receive that gratefully. That is real. That is a gift. And on the days when you feel nothing, when the words of the prayer seem to bounce back off the ceiling, when the silence feels empty rather than full, When faith feels like a mechanical motion you are going through without any conviction behind it. On those days, hold on to the fact, not the feeling, the fact. He said he would never leave. He has not left. He will not leave. No matter how the day feels, he is walking through it with you. No matter how the prayer felt this morning, he heard it. No matter what this day produces, you will not be put outside the reach of his presence. That is the fact that stands when the feeling does not. Hold it. We believe that you are moving today. We believe it without evidence that everything is resolved, because belief is not the same as evidence. We believe it in the face of everything that says otherwise. The reports that are not encouraging, the situations that have not changed, the waiting that has gone on longer than we had strength for. We believe that you are moving in the life of every person who prayed these words this morning. We believe you are moving in the hospital room where the diagnosis is unclear and the fear is loud. We believe you are moving in the workplace where the security has wobbled and the future feels uncertain. We believe you are moving in the home where things have been hard and the walls carry the history of it. We believe you are moving in the heart of the one who has been wandering and is further from where they want to be than they have words for. We believe you are moving in the relationship that has gone quiet and stiff and painful and looks from the outside like it may be unreachable. We believe you are moving in the mind of the one who has not been at peace for so long that they have started to wonder if peace is still possible for them. We believe it because you have moved before, because the record of your faithfulness runs longer than any argument against it, because every person alive who has trusted you in the darkness has eventually been able to say, not always immediately, sometimes only years later, I can see now that you were there. I can see what you were doing. I can see the shape of it from here, and it is not what I thought it was going to be, but it is good. It is better than what I would have chosen. We declare that today belongs to you. We declare that the plan that has been made for our harm has not accounted for the God who is walking beside us. We declare that the voice of fear will not be the loudest voice in our ears today. We declare that the weariness that has been building does not get to determine what we believe about our future. We declare that the sorrow that has been sitting in us is not the final word on our story. We declare that you are God in the morning and God in the afternoon and God in the late hours when the questions surface and the quiet stretches long. You are God then too. You are never not God. You are never not moving. You are never not present. And we believe it. We choose it. We choose it not because it is easy or because the circumstances have made it easy, but because it is true, and we would rather build our lives on the true thing than on anything else. We walk in that today. Bendakan Lord, as this prayer moves toward its close, let me say the thing that is most important to say. Thank you. Thank you for this morning, for the opening of another day, for the breath that was there when I woke up, for the fact that there was a waking up at all, for one more chance, not to be perfect, not to have everything figured out, but just to try again, to love again, to show up again, and see what you will do with a person who keeps showing up. Thank you for every morning prayer I have prayed that felt like it disappeared into silence, because you heard every one of them. Thank you for every provision that arrived at the last moment, when I had already started to wonder if it would arrive at all. Thank you for every person you placed in my path who carried something of your presence to me, the one who called on the right day, the one who said exactly what I needed to hear without knowing they were answering a prayer, the one who stayed when staying cost something. Thank you for the kindness I received that I did not earn. Thank you for the grace that ran longer than my ability to exhaust it. Thank you for the mercy that reset with every morning, not reluctantly, not with reservation, but freely. Thank you for the years that have brought me to this morning, all of them, the good ones and the ones that were hard, and the ones that were both. I can see your hand in the years that felt like prosperity, the years when things were clear and movement was forward and the faith came easily. And I can see, though it took longer to see it, your hand in the years that were difficult, the years that felt like setback or loss or silence. I can see that you were in those years too, that you did not leave or look away, that you were doing something in me during those years that could not have been done any other way, something I needed that I did not know I needed, something that made me more than I was when the hard season started. Thank you for being willing to do the work in me, not just for me, for caring enough about who I am becoming, not just about whether my circumstances are comfortable. Thank you, Lord, for everything you have given that I recognized, and for everything you gave that I never knew to count. Now, let me speak to you directly one more time before we close. You are going out into this day, and you are not going alone. I want you to carry that with you, not as a nice thought that fades by mid-morning, as a reality that reshapes the way you move. He is going with you into the first thing on your list today. He is going with you into the conversation that is already making you tense when you think about it. He is going with you into the building you walk into every day that has started to feel heavier than it used to. He is going with you into the phone call you have been putting off. He is going with you into the appointment that carries weight. He is going with you into the silence of the afternoon and the fullness of the morning, and every unremarkable moment in between. There is no part of your day today that you will walk through without him. There is no room you will enter that he has not already entered. There is no moment that will take him by surprise. There is no version of how today unfolds that removes you from his presence. Not the best version and not the worst version. Not the version where everything goes right and not the version where something goes badly wrong. You will not be alone. That is not a sentiment. That is the most settled, most reliable, most foundational truth about your life. Before anything else is true about you, before your name and your history and your circumstances and your fears and your hopes, this is true. You are not alone. You have never been alone. You will never be alone. Walk differently today because you know this. Not as a performance of faith that is exhausting to sustain. Walk differently in the way that a person walks differently when they know someone is with them. A little less braced, a little less clenched, a little more willing to breathe between the hard moments, a little more willing to be seen as someone who is accompanied by the one whose company outweighs every difficulty this day could produce. If this prayer found you today, if something in these words reached the place in you that needed to be reached, I want to ask you to share it. Someone in your life is starting their day with the same question you came in with. Will I have to do this alone? They just haven't found the words to pray yet, or they have forgotten that prayer is available to them, or they need to hear these words spoken aloud by someone else before they can find their own. Send this to them. Put it in front of them. Let this be the thing that reaches them today. And if this channel has been a place where you have found your footing in the morning, where you have come and been reminded of what is true before the day asks everything of you, subscribe and stay. There is more. There will always be more. Because the needs of a person trying to walk faithfully through ordinary life are many, and there is never a shortage of things worth praying. But now, go. Go into this day. Go carrying the awareness of who is walking beside you. Go with the confidence that comes not from knowing how everything will turn out, but from knowing who is with you however things turn out. He is with you in the kitchen before anyone else wakes up. He is with you in the car on the way to wherever this day is taking you. He is with you at the desk and the counter and the table and the bedside. He is with you when you handle things well, and he is with you when you handle them poorly. And even then, he does not walk away. He is with you in the moment of your greatest strength today, and in the moment of your greatest need. All day, Lord. Every room, every hour, every space between the hours. Walk with them. May you feel his presence in every ordinary moment of this unrepeatable day. May his peace go ahead of you into every room before you arrive. May you know, down in the deep, quiet place where you actually live, that you are not alone, that you have never been alone, that you will not be alone today. He walks with you, and that changes everything. Amen. Extended reflection for those who need more time. This morning, there is something I want to return to because I think it deserves more than the brief mention I gave it earlier. And I think there are people in this prayer who need to sit here a little longer before they go into their day. We said that his presence is not dependent on how today goes. I want to build on that because I know what some of you are carrying. I know that for some of you, the idea that God is with you right now, this morning, in this situation, feels very far from obvious, not because you don't believe in Him, not because your faith has failed, but because the situation you are in is one where the silence has been long and the evidence has not been encouraging, and you are doing everything a person of faith is supposed to do. You are praying, you are trusting, you are holding on. And the holding on has become a kind of fatigue that you don't entirely know how to name. You are not doubting God, you are tired. Those are not the same thing, and I want to make sure you hear that distinction clearly. Being tired from a long wait is not the same as failing to trust. Having honest questions about why something is not yet resolved is not the same as abandoning faith. Waking up some mornings and saying, "Lord, I am running low. I don't have what I had last week." That is not weakness. That is honesty. And honesty before God is one of the most faithful things a person can do. He is not put off by your exhaustion. He is not disappointed by the mornings when you come to prayer, not with confidence, but just with presence. Just showing up because you don't know what else to do, but you know that showing up is something. That is enough. It has always been enough. The disciples fell asleep in the garden when they were supposed to be praying, and Jesus did not send them away. He came back to them. He comes back to us. He comes to the tired ones. He comes to the ones who have run out of the language of faith and are just sitting quietly hoping that the sitting is enough. He comes to the ones who have stopped asking for the thing they asked for 100 times because they don't know how to keep asking, and yet they cannot stop. He comes to the ones who are not sure what they believe on a given morning, but they are here anyway, because this is the only place they know to come. Lord, for every person praying these words who is tired in the deep way, tired not from a single hard week, but from a long sustained effort to keep believing when the evidence has been slow, I ask you to meet them this morning with something that goes below the surface. Not a pep talk, not a verse they have already heard, something real, a specific, personal, unmistakable touch, the kind that reaches the place that words cannot reach and does something in there that the words could not do, the kind that leaves a person knowing, not thinking, not believing in theory, but knowing that they are not abandoned. Restore hope in the ones who have gone quiet about hoping because hope has cost them too much. Not naive hope that does not account for reality. Solid hope, grounded hope, the kind that is not dependent on circumstances working out a particular way, but on the character of the God who does not change regardless of circumstances. Let the tired ones rest this morning, even for a few minutes, in the certainty that they are not forgotten and they are not alone. And the waiting they have been doing is not invisible to the one who is walking with them through it. He sees the waiting. He is in the waiting. The waiting is not wasted. There is one more thing I want to say about presence, about His presence specifically, and it is this. The presence of God is not reserved for the spiritual giants. It is not something that is available only to the people who have everything figured out. The people who have been walking with Him for decades and whose faith is seasoned and steady. It is not something you earn by doing enough of the right things. It is not something you lose access to by doing the wrong things, by the stumbling and the failing and the falling short that are simply part of what it means to be human. His presence is available to you right now, in the condition you are actually in this morning, whatever that condition is. With the faith you actually have, whether that is strong or thin or somewhere in between. With the history you actually carry, whatever is in it. With the questions you still have that have not been answered yet. He is not waiting for you to be further along. He is here for where you are. I have heard people say, when I get my life more in order, then I will be able to pray. When I have dealt with this thing that is in the way, then I will be able to draw close. When I am in a better place spiritually, then I will feel like I have a right to His presence. But the distance you feel is not a door being held closed from His side. He is not standing at the door with conditions. The door is open. It has always been open. He is the one who opened it, and the opening was permanent. Come as you are. Come with the mess and the questions and the unresolved things and the parts of yourself you are not proud of. Come and find Him already there, already facing you, already fully aware of everything you brought with you, not surprised by any of it, not diminished by any of it, not less than He is because of anything you have done or left undone. That is grace. That is what grace actually means when you strip it down to what it is. Not that God pretends not to see what is there, but that He sees all of it and comes anyway. Not that He will come once you have cleaned things up, but that He comes into the uncleaned room and is not repelled by what He finds there. Lord, let the people who feel like they have no right to pray feel a different truth this morning. Let them feel welcomed. Let them feel that the prayer they prayed this morning, however imperfect and halting and uncertain it was, landed somewhere real. That it was heard by someone who was waiting to hear it. That the fact that they came at all was received as the gift it actually is. Let them know that their presence here matters. That they matter, not in an abstract way, but in the specific, named, counted way that a shepherd matters to every individual sheep. Not because of what the sheep contributes, but because of the nature of the shepherd. You are that shepherd, Lord, and every person in this prayer is one you are walking with today. All of us, everyone, walk with us. We are going now into everything that is waiting for us, the ordinary and the hard and the unremarkable and the overwhelming. We are going with the knowledge that we have been here this morning, that we have said these words, that we have placed ourselves in your hands for the day. Take us, use this day, do in us and through us and in spite of us what only you can do. Let us be people who carry your presence out of this morning and into every room, every conversation, every moment that this day holds, without even necessarily announcing it or making a show of it, just carrying it the way you carry something that has become part of you. He walks with you today, every step, every room, every moment between the moments. Go in peace. Amen.